All right, welcome to another Rage's Ramblings. This will be more of an update vlog more than anything, just to kind of give a heads up on what I've been up to lately. So my last big video, of course, I made the announcement with Die Hearted. We've been working on some stuff, music video that's going to be released soon, and also trying to book gigs with the band. So, of course, with us being in different provinces and whatnot, and here in Canada, and then trying to book stuff, it's can be a little bit challenging. But the biggest thing is we kind of missed out on booking gigs for the kind of like the summer festivals for 2025, unfortunately, just because a lot of these festivals sort of book far in advance to get their lineups kind of set up and everything. So we kind of missed the boat a bit on that. So we'll probably be more set up for 2026, and then still trying to book some gigs, based around work schedules and whatnot. So myself, even I've contacted, other bands and promoters and trying to book some stuff and trying to see what we can do. So, but then other than Die Hearted, I've also been trying to work on my Pantera tribute just to get out there and play again. And of course, this is something I've had in the works for quite a long time, probably like a solid 3 years. Trying to put this together, and then unfortunately, bass player we had, things just didn't work out. I had another guy kind of set up. At the same time, we kind of got asked to do some gigs coming up, with Calgary Stampede coming up in the summer, and of course, then we had to kind of solidify getting a bass player. A guy I had lined up, started working on the material, decided that he couldn't do it. It was just a little too advanced for him, or that he's just had some issues playing wise. So we're actually doing bass player auditions now. Of course, we had set up for a singer last year, and we finally got a solid singer who's Darren from the Archon Prophecy. He's going to be doing vocals for the Pantera tribute. He's already come down here, jammed with Carlos and I. So we just had guitar, drums, and vocals, kind of, starting to get the ball rolling on things. And then now, this coming weekend, we're going to start bass player auditions. So over this weekend, probably next weekend, try to get something set up. And there's some gigs in the works for getting out and playing with the Pantera tribute. I got to get on stage again. It's been 1.5 years since the last time I played live, which was with Siren. So I definitely got to get out there and play again. I miss playing on stage. Those that know me know I love playing live. It's a big thing for me. So kind of been working on that as well, working on my gear. So of course, I've got this guy that's probably going to be my stage guitar for the Pantera tribute, being that I don't know if I want to bring the Washburn Dixie out, just because it's a little bit controversial on the whole Dixie thing, and the value of it. It's stupid what that thing is worth value-wise. So I'm probably going to just bring this guitar out, and then also I don't know if I'll bring a backup. I'm going to need to bring some sort of backup that won't be the Dimebag shape, but we'll see what happens. And then another thing is with the sound. So it's a bit interesting. Like Dimebag Darrell had his own sound. He had a very interesting, solid state, really tight, aggressive sound. But sort of like when I started thinking about doing this tribute is that I kind of want to sort of integrate my own guitar sound in with it. And then I think ever since the big Pantera reunion with Zakk Wylde, kind of bringing in his own sound, tube sound, EMG pickups, kind of made me think that, I want to kind of do the same thing, kind of integrate my own sound into it. So it won't sound exactly like Dime, because honestly, that guitar tone that he had at a loud volume was hard on the ears, right? Because it was just such a very aggressive, high-toned sound. So I think with me, of course, being, endorsed artist with Rev Amps, I'm going to be using my Rev Amps. I had been looking out for Randall gear, but I'm going to stick to my Rev Amp stuff. Of course, I'm still going to use Dimebag style guitars with his pickups, which is very different tone than what I'm used to in the last while, being either the Seymour Duncan JB passive pickup, or the Fishman Fluence Moderns, or Seymour Duncan Blackouts have been sort of my 3 pickups to kind of go to. So being that the Duncan Dimebucker, very high endy, very tight in the low end, it's been a challenge for me to kind of set up my tone with it. So that's why it is going to definitely be my own tone as I go forward. Doing that with the gigs that are gonna come up. Like, we've got gigs kind of planned out. We just got to get through these bass player auditions. Kind of don't want a fill-in guy. I've had a couple of guys actually message me wanting to do just as a fill-in thing. The guys and I, we kind of want to find a permanent guy. So we'll see who we get into our mix of what we do, and be cool and hang out with, right? Like, we're kind of bros, and do stuff together and whatnot. So we'll see what happens. We'll kind of go ahead. So the other thing, the upgrade thing that I had done in the last while, sort of planning for Die Hearted when we do play live, is that I actually picked up one of these Gator mini vaults for my 2 Kanani King guitars, which is really nice. Like, it's very durable. It's going to be really good for traveling. But even thinking past my time with probably Die Hearted or moving into the future, I'm always somebody that brings 2 guitars to gigs. I always have a main and a backup. I'm probably going to want to keep this for future stuff as well. As I get into my 50s, which is scary for me to say, but it's coming, is that I want to make sure I've got gear set up and whatnot. And like, as much as I love like the Dimebag guitar, the ML shape, or my Jackson Flying V's and whatnot, they're not the easiest shapes to kind of travel with and whatnot. So I'm probably going to stick to more regular shapes, especially for traveling purposes. So, of course, I'm kind of getting a little bit out of metal. I kind of said to myself, like, Die Hearted will probably be the last like really hard metal band I ever get involved with. From there, I kind of want to explore, into like more rock, more blues oriented stuff with some jazz. Like, I'm starting to work on a lot of that music. And for me, moving forward, the kind of guitar style, kind of like the main guitar that I play a lot is actually my PRS, which is this guy here, which is a PRS SE Custom 24 Floyd. But of course, for playing, other styles of music, I'm trying to find one without a Floyd. So I've been kind of looking at the one that's been really attracting me lately is the PRS CE24, the American-made one. But the problem is, and this is kind of like an issue I have, is when I go to music stores, and especially I'm trying to find a used one because they're quite expensive new. And like, I think now, I don't know if it's because of the influence of the tariffs coming in, but like, I've been seeing them like almost $4,000 for the CE24, not even a core model, the bolt-on neck model. Like the core models, I'm seeing going for over $6,000 here in Canada, Canadian. That's just nuts. So I've been looking around at like used CE24s, and I know I had played one last year in the music store, and the setup on it was terrible. The action was like super high, and I was like, yeah, definitely passing on this. I like the tone of it, but man, it was set up poorly. So actually, I had a day off yesterday, so I went out to some music stores, gear shopping and whatnot, and I actually found another used one, not quite the finish on it that I wanted. So I tried it out on the music store, and again, the action was super high, and I'm like, it was almost unplayable. And I'm like, it was used for like $2,500, and I'm like, if music stores want to sell used equipment, you think they'd set it up so that somebody can at least play it right? So I was kind of like bummed out about that. I'm like, it wasn't the finish I wanted anyway, so kind of keep shopping. But yeah, I kind of really want to get into more of the PRS stuff, especially like I love my SE, but I definitely want something a little higher quality, we'll say, because there is definitely a quality difference between like American made guitars to like say Japanese made guitars to like, Indonesian made guitars and whatnot. So and I kind of want something almost traditional, but not quite. So that's why I was kind of looking at the PRS. The other guitar I might consider is maybe a Fender Strat again, a USA. I had a Fender Strat at one time, and I really liked it, except where the position of the volume knob was. It was so close to the bridge pickup. That was like my only big gripe about it, was, trying to play it. But for playing wise and playing other styles, especially being, three single coil although I put one of those JB stacked ones in the bridge position, was actually a really great guitar. So maybe I'll have to go to a Stratocaster, right? Especially since, lately I'm influenced a lot by blues and whatnot, playing, old Jimi Hendrix, old Billy F. Gibbons stuff, ZZ Top, playing a lot of that kind of bluesy kind of stuff. So maybe a Strat will be over a PRS. We'll see what happens. So that's sort of like musically what I've been working on. Now, also another piece of gear I picked up is actually, it's kind of hidden behind where the drums are kind of there. I picked up a bass cab, a 410 used bass cab. I only got it for $500, just so make it easier for auditioning bass players down here. And in the future, if I ever do any moonlighting again as a bass player, then I got a bass cab, right? The only thing left I need to get is a bass head. And I do want to get a decent quality like hybrid tube head for even recording purposes, because I had a few back in the days when I played bass, I actually had gone through a bit of gear, trying some different stuff. The first bass head I had was a PV Tour 450, I think it was, which wasn't very good. It was complete solid state bass head. It got me through back when I was doing like the Metallica tribute when I first started on bass before I went to guitar. But then after a while, I had picked up an Ampeg SVT7 Pro, and that head I really liked. So I'm probably going to try to find something like that again, or maybe the SVT4 Pro. Although it's pretty big, it's a pretty big head. I'd want something a little more compact. So that's why I was kind of looking, especially with a lot of the new tube, hybrid tube heads and whatnot, D-class stuff that a lot of these manufacturers have. I'll probably find something decent. But for now, just to have a bass cab down here for jamming. That's what the only kind of piece of gear I've really picked up. Otherwise, then this case, the Mini Vault, the Gator Mini Vault. So that's sort of what I've been up to. Not too much going on at the moment, other than really working on my Dimebag Darrell licks, and learning a lot of the Pantera stuff for now. And songwriting, I'm kind of in a weird place musically. I haven't really been able to really come up with anything original. I've come up with the odd riff that I've shared with Robin from Die Hearted to see if we can use in songwriting for Die Hearted stuff. But I just haven't really been inspired lately. So I'm kind of hoping really getting into my Pantera thing, to try to really like zone in on some of my influences and whatnot. And actually, the other video that I'll probably do soon too, which I've been putting off for a while, has kind of been like my top 10 most influential music albums. So that'll probably be another video kind of thinking about doing. So, but otherwise, that's it for today. That's my ramblings for today. And yeah, until next time, take care. Shred on.